I told my parents I won't drive my brother to school unless he is more hygienic because his smell literally makes me sick. So my little brother Jake is 15 and I'm 17, and I've been driving him to school for the past 6 months since I got my license. At first it was actually kind of cool having the extra time to hang out with him in the car, but then around 3 weeks ago, something changed. I don't know if it's because he started playing more video games late at night or what, but Jake just stopped caring about basic hygiene, like completely stopped. I'm talking about not showering for days, wearing the same clothes over and over, and this musty smell that would just fill up my entire car the second he got in. The first time I really noticed it was on a Monday morning. I opened the passenger door for him and this wave of stench just hit me like a brick wall. It was like a mix of old sweat, dirty laundry, and something else I couldn't even identify. I actually had to step back and take a breath of fresh air before getting in my own car. I tried to be subtle about it at first. I'd roll down all the windows even when it was freezing outside, and I started keeping those little air fresheners in my car. But it didn't help. The smell would just stick to the fabric seats and linger there for hours after I dropped him off. By the second week, I was starting to feel nauseous during our drives, like actually sick to my stomach. I'd have to breathe through my mouth the entire time, and even then I could still taste this gross smell in the air. My friends started commenting on how my car smelled weird, which was embarrassing. I finally decided to talk to Jake about it directly. I waited until we were almost at school one morning and said something like, "Hey, you might want to shower more often, dude." But he just shrugged and said he had showered recently, which was obviously a lie because his hair was so greasy it looked wet. Things got worse when my girlfriend Emma asked if she could get a ride to school with us one day. I couldn't say no without explaining why, so I just hoped Jake would have cleaned himself up. But nope, Emma got in the back seat, and within like 30 seconds she was trying not to gag. She kept shooting me these looks like, "What is that smell?" and I was so mortified. After that, Emma started making excuses not to ride with us, and I knew she was telling her friends about it because they'd give me weird looks when I walked by. It was humiliating. The breaking point came last Thursday. I picked Jake up and the smell was so bad that I actually had to pull over after like 2 blocks because I thought I was going to throw up. I'm not exaggerating. I literally had my head out the window dry, heaving on the side of the road. Some lady jogging by asked if I was okay. That afternoon, I went straight to my parents. I found them in the kitchen and just laid it all out. I told them I wasn't driving Jake to school anymore unless he started showering regularly and washing his clothes. My mom immediately got defensive and said I was being dramatic, but my dad asked what exactly was going on. I explained everything. How the smell was making me physically sick, how it was affecting my friendships, how embarrassing it was. My mom kept insisting that Jake was just going through a phase and that teenage boys smell sometimes, but I told her this wasn't normal teenage boy smell. This was like he hadn't washed himself in weeks. Jake was upstairs playing games with his headset on, so he had no idea we were even talking about him. My dad went up to his room and came back down 5 minutes later with this look on his face like he'd seen something horrible. He just nodded at me and said, "Okay, I get it now." Turns out Jake's room smelled even worse than he did. My dad said there were dirty clothes everywhere, moldy food plates under his bed, and his sheets looked like they hadn't been changed in months. It was gross. My parents ended up having this huge intervention with Jake that night. They set up a shower schedule, made him do his own laundry twice a week, and said if he didn't follow it, he'd lose his gaming privileges. Jake threw a massive fit and said I was ruining his life, but honestly, I didn't care anymore. The next morning was the first time in weeks that I could actually breathe normally in my car during our drive to school. Jake was still mad at me and wouldn't talk, but at least he smelled like soap instead of a garbage dump. My mom later admitted that she hadn't realized how bad it had gotten because she was so used to it gradually getting worse. She thanked me for bringing it up, even though it was uncomfortable. Apparently, Jake had been skipping showers after soccer practice too, which explained a lot. Now Jake keeps up with his hygiene way better, and our car rides are actually tolerable again.